my Young and the Restless fans. We are back to talk about today's episode. Phyllis records Diane and start getting really cozy. Ashley blows up at Tucker, while Victor includes Kyle in his plan to target his son, Adam. Welcome back to CBS Soap Dish Recap, where we recap everything CBS soaps, both the Young and the Restless and the Bold and the Beautiful. This is your Young and the Restless recap for January 13th. And without any further ado, let's talk about what happened in today's episode. So now we start out over at Society, where Sally is still faking the funk. She's acting nervous, and Nick actually sees that and comments on it. Now he thinks he threw her off, taking her away from her work. She says that he throws her off all the time, but it's in a good way. And she's happy that he reached out to her and that there's nobody that she'd rather spend time with. And as she says that, Adam walks in and they lock eyes. Now, Adam walks to the bar without any confrontation towards Sally and Nick. She starts reading the menu and think that they can pretend that his brother is not there. And she asks him for tips on impressing Jill for her presentation. However, Nick says, you know what, stop with the BS. And Nick calls her straightforward and suggests Sally be real. And then he get a text from Christian Nanny, who wants to know if he could watch a movie. Now Nick texts that it's okay and Sally and Adam can't take their eyes off each other. And Nick calls her smart and beautiful. He keeps up with the adjectives on how hot she is, and it works. And she has the urge to get him into bed. So now let's swing over to Crimson Lights, where we're outside and see Kyle telling his mom that Summer decided not to take Harrison to Paris. Now Diane is a mess, because Jack is doing her dirty work for her, stealing one of Nikki's necklaces so she can give it to Stark as a token of her trust. Now, Kyle worries that she's wired and getting a kick out of this like it's a game. However, Diane denies that. So now we're over at Audra's suite at the Grand Phoenix, and she's taking a call about being happy to join Newman Media when Tucker arrives. And Tucker was like, do you think that you could actually avoid me after what you did? She knew he'll turn up at one point. And he calls her messy and careless and blew it for him and Devon. You failed me, Audra, and I'm not going to forget it either. Now, she thinks that he's threatening her. And he was like, no, it's a promise. And he yells at her that she had one job to do. And she yelled back that he learned that they had the same phone notification. Yeah, Tucker, that little bitty thing gave the two of you away. And she says that Devon wondered if he had an agenda to take over his company since he dropped into Genoa City in the helicopter like the narcissist he is. And he gives her a glare. And she says, oh, did I cross a line? She says his son was smarter. Now, Tucker says Devon's relationship meant more than the company, and he won't let him explain. He cut him off from his grandson, too. And he wasn't trying to rob him of anything. He wanted to build something with him. And she learned things with Ashley went south, too. And she asked if he wants to cover or cower and beg for forgiveness. It's not going to happen. She is as done with you as he is with her. And while their conversation is going on, Nate arrives and he's sensing the tension in the room. And he's concerned, but then Tucker takes off. Nate asked, what did I walk in on? And she confessed that she was supposed to help Tucker take over Chancellor Winters when it became public. Now, Nate narrows his eyes. He asks, when? And she says, well, we go back a long way. He paid off her student loans, and she's been beholden to him. And they shared both a business and a personal connection. And Nate was like, oh, I see. And he tells her about Devon finding out the truth, and she lied about stepping back at Chancellor Winters. Now, Nate can see she figured she had time. She calls it foolish of her, but she wanted to land on her feet and prove her worth. Nate was like, at my expense? It makes him look bad. Now, she understands if he wants to rescind his offer of employment. He says, well, it makes sense that she wasn't shocked to learn that he was double-crossing his cousins. If he would have stayed the course, he would have ruined Tucker's plan. Nate decides to keep her working with Newman Media. So now we're back over at Crimson Lights, where Kyle sees Tucker and taunts him about losing control over everything he wanted. However, Tucker still thinks he has control with Ashley, but Kyle says, nope, that's too bad. She's headed to Paris tonight, and then he takes off. So now we're over at the Glam Club, where we see Diane meeting Jeremy, and he asks how their little project is going, and he wants details. So she started telling him when Phyllis appears and looks stunned, and she watches their exchange. Diane said that they agreed that she surprised him. And while this coziness is going on, Phyllis starts to record the conversation as Diane claims that she has it all under control. Now, Stark still wants information. She says that she's headed to Chicago tonight, and tomorrow he'll get a beloved and expensive piece of stolen jewelry. She walks her fingers up his arms as she tells him, smiling confidently. And then she admits that she is stealing from Nikki Newman, and she likes payback for her thinking that she could pull their strings. Now, Stark is impressed and hopes that she can actually deliver. And she brags about how great she is and how she was once married to Victor Newman. And this makes Stark hot. So now we're back over at Society, and Kyle greets Sally and Nick on their way out and then finds Adam having some drinks. Something's on your mind? He asks, and Kyle grins. Is that what passes as hello? And Kyle has this whole crazy back and forth. Kyle rubs it in that Sally chose the better brother. Then they exchange words until Victor arrives, and Adam is smirking like, what is this all about? Now, Victor wants to know how his family is doing. Something Adam's forgotten about, which was family, according to Victor. And then Victor and Kyle get their own table, and Victor asks how everyone is doing. Kyle says, well, they're fine, but why are we really here? Is this about my mom, Diane? And he says no, but wants to know how Adam is doing at Jabot. Now, he doesn't think Kyle wants Adam working there and asks him to work together to change that. So now over at the Abbott mansion, Tucker shows up, and Ashley tells him that he's wasting his time coming over there, and she's off to Paris. Now, he knows but begs her to hear him out, and he hates how things ended. Now, she lets him in and says that he screwed up, but he did everything for them, according to him. Now, she didn't hear an apology in that statement, so he says that he's sorry he hurt her. It's the last thing he wanted. He didn't give or have a plan to rip Jabot from her or her family. Tucker claims that he wanted her to become the star she is and thinks that she is under the shadow of Jack and her father. So you decide what's best for my life, Ashley says, and he says he knows her and knew that she was excited about it. He doesn't think the connection they have can be faked. He calls his feelings profound for her. Can they find their way back, he asks. Ashley then admits that she was starting to feel things for him again when she didn't think it was possible, even though her instincts told her not to trust him. Now, Tucker says it's all out in the open. Ashley was like, look, just stop. There is no chance in hell. She grabs him by his scarf and swats him. And he's a crappy partner, as he always has been, and she can't wait to get on that plane so she doesn't have to look at him ever again. She kicks him out, and once outside, he stands there staring. So once again, we're at Crimson Lights. We see Phyllis meet up with Nikki to talk about Diane. Nikki doesn't even know what she's up to. However, Phyllis says that, well, I know because I saw him making out, meaning Jack, with Diane. However, Nikki's not surprised and says one day he'll regret that. Phyllis was like, look, Diane is playing him. And then she shows the video that she took of Diane with Stark, and Nikki hates how she's cozying up to that criminal. Unfortunately, Phyllis, you don't know what you're filming because this is all part of a plot put together by both Jack and Diane. And finally, we're back at Sally's suite at the Grand Phoenix, where Sally is trying to take Nick's clothes off. They kiss, and she sees the prenatal vitamins that Chloe left for her, and she's cringing as Nick kisses her neck. Now, Sally sends Nick into the shower. She claims that she's going to meet him there, and while he's gone, she shoved them pills into her handbag. Girl, just tell that man the truth, or Adam the truth, and stop playing. Okay, so there you have it, your Young and the Restless recap for Friday, January 13th, 2023. Stay tuned for the bold and the beautiful recap also for today. And until the next video, like, comment, and subscribe, and we will see you next time. Bye.